Now, when I talk about data science and I say how it helped Amazon to be the world's number one, trust me, in today's context, the entire business of Amazon is built on the concept of the same. So, I would definitely request every one of you to close your headphones, like, mute yourself if it's not auto muted. You are free to type your question in the chat box, but during the query session only, so that it doesn't put my attention to the chat box. And I will definitely entertain your questions at the last. But let me first take you onto the journey for which we have actually come out here, and that is that what Amazon has done or how it has actually used the technology in its own favor to build its own multi-billion-dollar business. Now, yeah. Now, according to the sources, if you really believe onto the sources, there are hundreds and thousands of startups that get in a year. So I think more than hundreds of startups, more than hundreds of people like you or maybe others try to build a business, and more than 50% of the businesses die on the very first year, and probably the remaining 50-60% goes on to second year or third year and maximum up to 10 years. And the main reason which has been seen over a period of uh, time that why these startups fail, one, the huge risk that is involved in their businesses, and second is the lack of innovation which is there not only on the level of the people who are working in the organization, but also on the level of the employer who are actually running those startups. And this is not I am telling, it's a very logical statistics. If you take a little bit search about it, you will find it. And that's a hardcore fact, that today businesses can survive only and only if they have the right innovation, if they have the right technology in hand, if they have the right ways of knowing what to do and what to give their customers. The one prime reason that Amazon has been such a success today, that's the reason that it knows in advance what a customers want. But the question is how. So I believe that Amazon is always two steps ahead and understand its customers very well. In current context, if I talk, it majorly focuses on the field of e-commerce, cloud computing, digital streaming, AI, and so on. And a company which actually started as an e-commerce portal selling books few years back is now one of the big four technology companies along with Google, Apple, and Facebook. And the only and the one of the major reason for all these companies, whether you talk about Google, you talk about Apple, you talk about Facebook, you talk about Amazon, is that they rule the world with the help of innovation. And they're able to do those innovations, they're able to give you those innovative services because they understand you well. They know in advance that what a customer needs, and accordingly they build their entire plan, the targeting plan. The Amazon simply works on this UTUF model, right? So if you're studying on the key takeaways I gave, that I will take you onto the UTUF model Amazon, and that's what a UTUF model is actually is. How Amazon uses data science. That UTUF means there are four major aspects through which Amazon actually uses data in its own favor or applies technology on data in its own favor. One, uses recommendation based systems. Like if you go into any app today, for example, let's take Amazon Prime or let's say Netflix, if you want to go out of Amazon, when you log into these apps, gradually these apps started making you recommendations. They start recommending you about the series or the movies or the things you might like to see, isn't it? I think all of you must have noticed it over a period of time, that whenever you register yourselves on these apps or any type of app, as a matter of fact, it starts giving you recommendations that okay, I think that these are the series in which you might be interested. How it is doing that? Because there is some algorithm in the background that is working, which understands your history. It actually notes what type of things you have come across in last few days or last few months, and it doesn't actually sees your history. It sees the history of users similar like you also. Then tracking the user to understand the mindset. Why I say that Amazon is always 2 steps ahead of what it is trying to give it to its customers, because it is tracking the user at every point of time to understand what the exactly the mindset of the customer is. Three, understanding the technicalities, understanding the habits of the customer, like where they come, when they go, when they come on the e-commerce site, what things they see, what things they like, what things they don't like, all those habits, your taste, your preferences, Amazon tries to know with the help of technology and gives you the best customer experience. And the fourth thing, which has actually done some brilliant work for Amazon in ruling the field, is the faster shipping. I think the shipping process Amazon is absolutely brilliant, is fantastic. And the two reasons of this is the predictive analytics and the usage of drones, which is still an underdeveloped area and which is still on the working. So this UTF model, these four things, which is using the recommendation based system, tracking the user's mindset, understanding the habits, tastes, and preferences of the user, and faster shipping. These are four things which using which the Amazon is ruling the today's e-commerce world and probably ruling everywhere. So that's the basic ideology behind Amazon's usage of this field, the field of data science. It takes your data, and on the basis of data, it does all these things and tries to give you a better experience, indirectly or directly increasing its revenue as well, right? Because that's obviously that's gonna get effect like anything. Let's talk about recommendation based systems. Now, as an example, I gave you that when we talk about recommendation based systems, it's like, collecting your data. So when you logged on to an app, okay, and you register yourself, you start watching certain movies or certain series or, certain genres or whatever you like. Then there's some algorithm that is working in the background that starts noting what things you want to watch, or what things you have liked in the past, or what things you have rated in the past. So this rating or ratings that you give, or these likes that you give to the series or the movies which you watch, actually plays a very significant role to help the algorithm understand that what you might like to see in the future. So it gathers your own data as a user. It gathers your data. It sees all the your in the history, like in the past, what all things you have done, what all things you have liked, uh, what all type of series or movies you have watched. And it does not only sees your data. Please understand, this is one very important thing. It does not sees only your data. Gradually, it also sees the data of users which are similar to you, and based on that, it gives you the recommendations. So obviously, since the underlying strategy is having the data, having the history of the users, so the more data we will have, the better will be the algorithm working and understanding what a users wants. So all those ratings, why when you watch some series or movies, you always get an option to like or rate a movie, huh? There's an intention to that, because that's a very very significant input for the algorithm, that what you are liking or how much you are rating a particular series or movie. That rating preference scenario, is very significant, because without that input, it will not be able to uh, it will not be able to sorry it will not be able to gather your requirements. Okay, so this is one of the very important thing you need to understand, that the more the data they will have from the customers, the better recommendations they would be able to give you. Even if you go on to e-commerce website, right, any e-commerce website, whether it's Amazon or Flipkart or something, it starts giving you recommendations gradually, that these are the products you might like to buy or you might like to purchase. Again, those are not some voluntary or sudden recommendations that these e-commerce websites starts giving you. In certain cases they are sponsored, but there are many scenarios where those recommendations come because you might have searched something in the past, or if you have not searched, then users who share similar interest to you might have searched. Now this is known as collaborative filtering. There are two types of filtering. One is collaborative, and the second is your content based filtering. Content based filtering simply means that when you logged on to a website, or you logged on to let's say some app, you the app actually asks you, okay, what are your area of interest? So you say I like action movies, or let's say I like comedy movies and so on. So that details which it asks initially from you, those are basically content details, like what are your areas of interest. So whatever recommendations it give you on that basis are content based filtering. This is what I am referring to you currently, where it uses your own data as well as the data of the users which are similar to you. That is your collaborative filtering. All right, it's a very important concept, and one of the prime algorithms that work in this area are referred to as the Boltzmann machines. Boltzmann machines is one of the very prime algorithm in the area of deep learning, which is actually used to build the recommendation engines. Okay, I'm just naming you the algorithm. So if you will learn somewhere in the future, you would be doing that. How to create movie recommendations or the recommendation engines. That's very interesting stuff which one can do. All right. Next. The next thing, one is recommendation, right? That's the first U. Then T, tracking the user to understand its mindset. Once you go onto these e-commerce websites, once you build your accounts, once you get logged into them, it tracks almost everything. It tracks your needs. What are your search patterns? What things you have searched in the past? And based on that, it decides what you might like to have in future. So right from your personal details, which you store, like your contact number and address, it even tries to understand the income level of yours. So let's say if you are living in a metro city, and you have done lots of searching in the past, you have bought a lot of products in the past, so it builds your own profile. So, okay, so probably this person is belongs to A1 category, or the tier 1 category, or the tier 2 category, and accordingly it's make recommendations. It is as simple as it is. Somebody who might be living in a sub-rural area or a urban rural area, the recommendations for him might be totally different. The recommendations for you might be totally different. So whatever personal details you fill, right, that includes your contact number, your addresses, your location. It also tries to understand that, okay, probably if this person is living in tier 1 city, then this should be the approximate income level. So it understands what products to offer, what products it should show you, and what product it should not. Then it also checks on your feedback habits, like what type of feedbacks you have given, and studies your patterns. It's basically the pattern which is studies which you have followed in the past, and try to build your profile. So one profile building happens when you put your details into the app, right? So wherever you want to use, you put your details into the app, and obviously it will have some profiling of yours. The second, which it builds over a period of time by tracking your almost every kind of information which is possible for it to grab and track. That's the second. That's one of the second things which helped Amazon in understanding what a customer needs. Third thing, the third U, U2UF. So we have covered one U, the T, and the third U, understanding the habits of the people. How much time you spent on the platform, how much time you browse, what all things you see. It tries to understand your habits, right? So what all things you have searched, what all things you have seen in the past, what all things are there in your wish list, what all things you have bought, what all things are add to cart, what all things you probably wanted to buy but you haven't bought, you have removed it from the cart. All that information it keeps with you, and based on that it gives you recommendation. You might have forgotten, trust me, I've seen this many times in my case also. You might have forgotten what is there in your cart, but Amazon will not forget. It will start popping you out information till the time either you remove that item from the cart or you actually buy that item. So it will always start showing you, okay, there is two saved items in your cart, or this is the item which is there in your cart. So it knows what is there. It knows what you have searched, what things you have bought in the past. Let's say you have bought a lot of clothing in the past. So it will give you more recommendations of clothing as compared to the other categories or the other products. So the time that you devote on the platform, the more and more time you will devote on platform, the more and more learning it will have about you. The lesser time you will devote on the platform, the lesser learning it will have about you. As simple as it is, what you can understand. Because the more time you will spend, the more things you will surf, the more things you will surf, the more things you will be adding to cart, or you will be buying, or you will be removing from the cart, or you would be adding to wish list and so on, right? So as more and more time you will spend, more and more activities you will perform the platform, the more learning it will have about you. It is as simple as it is that you go to school or a period of time or a college, and you spend more and more time onto the subjects. The more time you spend, the more you learn, right? You need to spend time on that. Nothing is immediate, nothing is like overnight. So algorithms don't work overnight, they also learn about you over a period of time. All right, as simple as it is. Please don't use this raised hand scenario because it will not make any sense for me that why you are raising your hand. If there are any questions, please put me on to the last. Okay. So whatever questions you have, I will answer them in the last. So, okay, hold to your questions or make a note of somewhere and we'll discuss about them. All right. The fourth and the most important thing, which has actually made Amazon favorite of everyone, is the faster shipping. But before I go into this, I just want to understand, do you people really know what is big data? That's a question from my side, so you can respond. Quick responses, but do people really know what is big data? Right? So it's again a very hyped word. Again, a very hyped word. Probably used everywhere. Big data, big data, big data, this, big data, that, big data. But what is big data? What is, so if anybody knows, huge amount of data. All right. Robin says huge amount of data. Jagan says huge amount of data. All right. Collection of data, raw data. But I agreed. Big data means huge amount of data. No, that's not important, Mahalakshmi. That has to be a structure. Data can be in any form, Aniket. Yes, large amount of data. I can take the word large amount of data. But what is this word large? Means large can be anything. Large can be anything. Okay. So when we use this word big data, okay, it's a data which doesn't have any limitation. Like any data which you feel is too large for your machine to handle, or your uh, intermediate libraries to handle, becomes large data. Okay, so officially there is no definition of big data. Officially, there is no definition of big data, but big data or large amount of data is something which you think is too large for your machines to handle. So you need help of special libraries, special interfaces. You need help of special technologies or modules that can help you out with that. So your current modules or your ideal modules might not be able to work. Okay, so you can express this definition in a number of form, but officially there is no logic to this big data. Big data is something which can be anything, and you need special or something where you need parallel computing. Let's make it simple. When you feel that without parallel computing you cannot handle this data, or your systems cannot handle your data, or your machines cannot handle the data, you basically are entering into the stage of big data. Okay, parallel computing means that I can't handle the entire data together, or my algorithm can't handle the entire data together. So I create chunks of it, and all those chunks get simultaneously trained, simultaneously worked. So then that is parallel computing, or also referred to as distributed computing or distributed training, whatever word you want to use. Okay, so let's come back. So with the help of all the big data, all the huge amount of data that it basically collects, yours data, my data. Now the data is so large, it has become so large over a period of time that today the algorithm can predict anything, anything in the sense that who will order what and when. Now I'm not saying that those predictions will always be right. All right, so don't take my words that way. So I'm not saying that those predictions will always be right, but the Amazon get a very great idea that okay, based on whatever buying patterns I can see about this person in the past, probably these are the things he would buy again and around this much time. Nowadays, if you have seen, if you go to Amazon, it gives you options to mark the periodically, buy the item periodically automatically, like 1 month time or 15 days of time and so on. Okay, so it gives you that option that if you want to have recurring buying of that product, you can set the option there itself, and every month the product will come to you. It even offers you extra discount if you go into that recurrent buying. I don't know how many of you have seen this feature, but this is there in Amazon. Not in every product probably, but in many products this feature is there, that you can fix the recurrent buying of your item like monthly. So every month it will come to you and it offers you discounts as well. So if you have not seen this feature so far, you need to see. You need to really see that. That's there inside on Amazon. So this automatically increases your experience of online shopping. Like there are many products which which we people keep on buying monthly, like especially groceries and tea and all these regular consuming items. These are certain things we keep on buying. So Amazon tries to lock you in a pattern of recurrent buying, so that it gives you comfort on one hand and it gives a assured revenue to the Amazon on the other. So on one hand, where it increases the experience of online shopping, obviously I don't need to have the headache of every time coming to Amazon and buying that particular product. It's already going into the recurring nature, and I'm getting some extra discount as well. So good. What's bad in this? You get your products on time before your lot finishes. It happens many times to me that I'm supposed to order the product because the current stock is going down, but I forget and it's finished. So I have to wait 1 2 days or whatever to get the product. But this feature eases my job like anything, because now I'm good to go. The product will come to me. I don't need to worry that I have to go to Amazon and buy. So it gives me that online experience. I'm happy that I don't have to take this headache. And obviously, the Amazon earns the revenue for giving me that service. But why it is able to do that? Because it is learning about you. And with the help of your learning, your data, it actually has changed into the shipping process. Now, within shipping, Obviously, when it is taking your data, it is making predictions about you, because all the fast buying items, or the items which the Amazon thinks that are very fast buying and the probably users keep on buying, they need to be in stock. Because if they will not be in stock and the people wants the product, it will give them a bad shopping experience. So Amazon wants to be ready with its stock before it actually gets finished, but it is not with every item. The algorithm recognizes that what are those items which actually needed to be in the stock every time or before they gets finished currently. Because if they will finish and the stock is not get refilled, then it would not be, it would, then your customer will shift somewhere else. It will come to Amazon, it will find out of stock, it will go on to some other website where stock is available and buy that product. Amazon doesn't want that. Even no e-commerce website wants that. They don't want to break the chain of buying with their customers. And to make sure that the chain of buying is not breaked, they have to make sure that the right items or fast buying items should be there in the stock before they actually perished. And for that, it uses your social media details as well. It uses social media analytics. It always also uses weather predictions as a matter of fact. And that definitely helps Amazon in designing its overall shipping strategy in an excellent way. Trust me, I whatever experience I've got with Amazon over a period of time, I hardly use any other e-commerce website because it makes me happy. But Amazon is able to give me because they have the data. Then drones. Now this is something which is not into mainstream currently, but this is still into the developing process, which is the airmail. So airmail has a lot of roadblocks, a lot of issues, but I think the way Amazon is going, it would definitely be able to bring it, the airmail scenario. The cost will definitely be very high. Drones will be used to deliver, but it would be very interesting thing if that comes, right? So drones delivering our products in no time. Wow, what a great feeling! What a great experience that would be. But let's see, you know, how that will happen or whether it will actually come into the mainstream or not, because it has lots of logical challenges and the air and the space challenges which needs to be faced. So fingers crossed onto that. All right. Now, 5 ways in which Amazon uses big data. Now, this was the UTF model which I explained to you. Okay, so UTF model was all about the 4 things uh, which need to be there to maintain them. All right. So now you need to the ways in which Amazon uses your data. Now, one is what are the algorithms that use? What are the technological algorithms or the modules it use to help it out in giving the best customer experience? Now, how it uses your data for monitoring. Now, when we know that, there is no doubt about that, that in today's context, Amazon is a leader not only in collecting, but storing, processing, analyzing your information, whatever it is. It has full interface, full infrastructure to collect the information, to store your information, to process it and analyze it. And that information is all about that how customers spending their money. It wants to understand your spending patterns. I think one of the gentlemen or the participant here asked me that to what extent it is right. Trust me, it is not today's contest. It is not a matter of right or wrong now. If you don't like it, don't do it. As simple as it is. Any website where you register your data or register your details gives you the disclaimer that your data would be used for blah 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 and these purposes. If you're not happy, if you feel that that's a interfering into your privacy, then don't do that. As simple as it is. So if you do that, you should not blame it. But to give you that experience, it is important for these companies to understand that how you spend your money. So there again, the predictive analytics come in the picture. So on the basis of how you are spending of money, they give you targeted marketing campaigns. They will show you those products in advertising which you probably be searching. I think this everyone has experienced. If you search something on Google, anything, then you log into your Facebook account, you'll start seeing ad related to that product. You go on to your Google, you start seeing ads to your product. I think this is very common. Everybody of you must have noticed. You make something search on Google, anything about anything, some product or some service or whatever, then gradually on whatever social media platform you will go, it start giving you advertisements or posts related to that product or related products. Have you ever noticed this thing? I think this is very common. If I today go on to Google and start searching, I want to buy pure cow milk. Let's say as an example, I do some searching for a few minutes. Then I go to my Facebook. I will see if my Facebook showing ads of all the companies which sell cow milk. How it has done that? Yeah, YouTube ads, again, a very good example. That's targeted marketing. That is what is referred to as targeted marketing. But how they're able to do that? Because they want to understand how you are spending your money, or in what direction you want to go to spend your money. So Alexa, I think everybody knows about Alexa. Now they do it in a number of ways. One is using Alexa's voice recording. Trust me, that's one of the critical ways Amazon does that. Whatever audio recordings you have, they are uploaded to Amazon server, and the company in its disclaimer very clearly says that these files help making the Alexa experience better. That's something which is definitely there. Even otherwise also, if you see, you call anyone, let's say you have a network, Airtel or Vodafone or whatever, and you call to their customer care, you call to your bank customer care, then there is an automated message that comes that this call might be recorded for the purpose of training and experience. So all these recordings are uploaded to the servers, and with the help of these interactions, the company tries to understand you better. So in case of Alexa, the data gets stored, and then it helps Amazon in understanding speech recognition. Now this is the area of text and speech basically, which comes under NLP, which is natural language text processing. Like one area is numbers, the other are images, one is text. So now this helps Amazon in enabling better speech recognition, because now, especially in a country like India, where a diverse group of customers, and we all have our own native languages or the preferred languages that we use. So accurate message processing is very important. But it cannot learn unless and until it takes our data and what we have been talking over a period of time. Now, as I said, for some people, it might be a privacy concern. So if you are not comfortable, then one, don't use it. Two, go to the cloud and delete. All right. So using your Alexa enabled assistant, you can delete them also. One by one, you can delete them so that it might not be used. But uploading will definitely happen. So either don't use it, or if you are too much, desirable about your privacy concerns, then you are free to go and probably remove it. Personalized recommender systems, right? So it studies your behaviors, it captures your behavior. So ladies and gentlemen, trust me, it's not an easy task. Even with an algorithm, it's not at all an easy task to build a recommendation system, or recommendation system which can actually give you the right recommendations. For that purpose, the algorithm not only needs to learn your ratings and the like preferences, it also need to learn your behavior, your patterns. So we call it as a field of behavioral analytics. 3, it uses the power of suggestion to encourage impulsive buying from a customer. So it analyzes your purchases, your past patterns of the purchases. It sees the purchasing patterns of the customers, all right, or the items which are there inside your cart, or the items which are there inside your wish list, all right, or the products which you have reviewed in the past or rated the past. And based on that, it continuously gives you suggestions, and See, this is something which is very common, right? So when it continuously gives you suggestions onto a product, it will not let you forget about that product. Trust me, it will not let you forget about the product. So unless and until you totally remove it from the side. So one day will definitely come that when it will give you constant recommendation to your product, like something is there in the cart, you might like this, you reviewed this in the past, on the basis of review we have some recommendations. It initiates, or it fills you with enthusiasm and encourages impulsive buying from you, right? Understood. So this is again one of the way it uses your data. So you may call it as a customer service, but here obviously some impulsive buying will definitely going to happen. It has happened with me so many times, right? So those people who are shopping savvy, whether a men or a women, doesn't matter. They will definitely enter into impulsive buying, maybe today or maybe tomorrow. Then anticipatory shipping model. So again, it anticipates what items customer probably going to buy. Again, it might see what is there in the cart, what are the things you are currently searching on Amazon in last few days, and it anticipates, it predicts what you're probably going to buy. And based on that, it builds its supply chain system, the inventory system, because the Amazon wants to make sure that any product or those products which probably customers are searching, which customers are demanding, they are buying. And it is not only you, right? It is not like only you are buying, so it is filling its stock. There are millions of users like you. There are millions of users who must have searched that product or looked that product or added to their cart or whatever. So it understands that probably if so many users are searching this product or adding this product or buying this product, probably the supply chain system needs to make sure that this stock should be there in whatever neighborhood stock room or area or warehouse it is, so that once the customer actually buys them, the item is ready to go. So again, your information is used to do that, your anticipation, your previous search patterns, your buying patterns, your add to cart patterns, the things which we have sent as a gift, all these details are noted. So on one hand, which is where it is obviously trying to give you that customer experience, or that trying to build your loyalty towards Amazon, that see, Amazon is taking so good care of me. On the other hand, it increases its revenue as well. And that's something which is very important. So 5 things, right? So if I give you the key takeaways, 5 things. 1, supply chain optimization. What's there to be, what's need to be there in the stock? Very important question. Second, price optimization. Probably what price consumers are ready to buy for the product. So it takes your feedback. It understands, okay, why people are not buying. Probably it's a higher item. It reads your reviews, right? It reads the reviews that you have given to the products. On the basis of reviews, it starts to understand your sentiments, whether you have a positive sentiment or whether you have a negative sentiment. If negative, then probably what are the reasons? Then it screens your purchases history. It screens your return request. And based on that, it helps Amazon in fraud detection, that probably this customer is not right. He's a fraud agent. To encourage people to buy more, the impulsive buying. So when it starts giving you suggestions, regular suggestions, content suggestions, it motivates you to buy, actually motivates you to have the compulsive buying and the recommendations. That's how Amazon implements its big data, implements its technology, implements the power of data to get the most out of it. All right. That's what I wanted to give you last. Okay. So that's from my side on how Amazon uses data science to be the world's number one or to be the world's prime, whatever word you want to use.